We decided to study the relationship between basic sanitation and income per person, or GDP per capita. According to Gapminder, these two variables are positively correlated, with richer, well-developed countries subject to overall higher sanitation. The same can be said for third world, poorer countries that are underdeveloped and subject to lower overall basic sanitation. Scientists have noticed the correlation between basic sanitation and GDP per capita, and it is known that high-income countries have just under double the levels of basic sanitation that low-income countries do. Having high basic sanitation means that the GDP can be lower because more is spent by the country to maintain a healthy population. But this also works vice versa because countries with a low GDP per capita who spend sources to improve their country's basic sanitation also see an increase in GDP per capita.
To be clear, basic sanitation is improved sanitation facilities that are not shared with other households. Improved sanitation facilities include flush-to-piped sewer systems, septic sewer systems, septic tanks or pit latrines, and composting toilets. Some facts regarding the availability of basic sanitation around the world are that globally 2.3 billion people live without access to basic sanitation, and only 60% of the world's population has access to basic sanitation, and only 39% of people have access to safely managed sanitation. Also, almost 100 million urban residents practicing open defecation. Improved sanitation leads to lower disease burden, improved nutrition, reduced stunting, improved quality of life, healthier living environments, better environmental stewardship, increased job opportunities and wages, and improved competitiveness of cities and economic and social gains to society.
Basic observations can be made right off the bat about countries that showed poor sanitation before the 2000s and then spiked dramatically and ended with doubling and in some cases even tripling basic sanitation levels. For example, Laos in Asia just north of Thailand started the year 2000 with at least a basic sanitation level of 28% and finished in the year 2015 according to Gapminder with a sanitation rating of 72.6%. That's a change in 44.6% between a 15-year time span. Vietnam is another country that positively changed their basic sanitation level in the 15-year time frame. They saw a jump from 53.4% to 78.2%. That's a change of just shy of 25% increase. Other countries that need to be mentioned would be Cape Verde, who went from 37.5% to 65.2%, and Rwanda, who saw an increase to both GBD per capita and basic sanitation, experienced a change from 44.2% to 62.3%.
Although it is highly likely that when a country has increased sanitation, its GDP per capita increases also, there are still rare instances where this is not the case. Two examples of this not being the case are the country of Myanmar and the country of Nigeria. The reason for this in Myanmar is because of natural disasters and ongoing conflicts within the country are resulting in many people being displaced and without access to adequate facilities. Children, women, and elderly people with disabilities suffer more without appropriate facilities during crises. Lack of knowledge about protecting oneself from the spread of disease also hampers people's ability to combat health threats. 25% of children in Myanmar, which is also over 4 million, live in households that do not have a decent toilet facility. Government funding has rather pushed away from sanitation due to violence and civil problems within the nation. Nigeria, on the other hand, having good sources of clean drinking water has been a major problem in Nigeria for decades. Only 26.5% of Nigerian citizens have access to improved drinking water and sanitation facilities. It is highly probable that the poor sanitation in Nigeria has led to a low average life expectancy, which is between 52 and 54 years old. The reason for both of these countries struggling with sanitation is because both governments have had to deal with leadership problems and overall too much government spending as well.